Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. This is your instructor Hassan Mansoor. I welcome you to the online lecture of Principles of Microeconomics. The course code is Econ 111. This is lecture number 16, and the topic that we will cover today is the concept of elasticity and its applications. The topics that we would cover today in this lecture are total revenues and how the total revenue changes when the price changes. The reference book for the subject is Principles of Economics by Grigory Menkeev. Total revenue is an important topic in economics as far as the production is concerned, or supply demand is concerned, or the market structure is concerned. Whenever the firms, they're trying to calculate their profits, or they're trying to minimize their losses to increase the profits. So total revenue is one of the important concepts in that area. So total revenue is the amount paid by the buyers and received by the sellers of a good. So we know that whenever in the market the buyers and sellers they come in contact with each other, the objective of that contact is to exchange the goods, products, or the services. And whenever this exchange is taking place, during that exchange of the product, there is a flow of money which is taking place, and that flow of money is normally from the buyers towards the sellers, which is also a sort of circular flow of the national income. So the total revenues is basically the amount which is paid by the buyers and it is received by the sellers as income. And from the consumer's point of view, the money which is spent on purchase of the product is their expenditure, and the amount of money which is received by the sellers as a transaction of that product is their income. So that is something we call the total revenues. So how do we calculate or how do we determine the total revenues for a firm? We calculate it by price of the good times the quantity sold. So if you want to calculate the total revenues of a product or for a firm, it is very easy that you multiply the price of a product which is being transacted by the quantity of that product. So we can write it as total revenues is equal to P multiplied by Q, or P times Q. So P over here is the price of the product and Q is the quantity sold or the quantity purchased of the product. Now for a price increase, let's suppose the price of a product increases. If the demand is inelastic, total revenues increases. So dear students, today's topic is going to focus on the phenomena that the firms They are always trying to determine how to increase the total revenues, because as I have told you in the class, and probably you remember that firms' main objective is to maximize the profits. Now, to maximize the profits, as we know that profit is equal to total revenues minus the total costs of the firm. So if the firm is trying to maximize the profits, it has two solutions for that, or there are two ways to do that. One is to increase the total revenues or decrease the total cost. So we can write the profits in the following form, that is pi is equal to total revenues minus the total cost. So pi over here is the profit. So if the firm tries to maximize the profit, they have to increase the total revenues or decrease the total cost. So in both ways, the firms can maximize the profit. Now, in today's lecture, our focus is one of the part of this equation, that is the total revenues. The firm will try to maximize the total revenues, and whenever they are trying to maximize the total revenues, it is always very important that the firm have to decide whether they increase the price of the product or they should decrease the price, because the total revenues includes the price as well as the quantity. So if you increase the price factor over here, that will affect the Q as well, which is the quantity. As we know, according to the law of demand, that when price of a product increases, the demand decreases, and when the price of the product decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So firms are normally thinking that whether they should increase the price of the product or they should decrease the price of the product, so that their total revenues can be maximized. Now, dear students, since we are going through the concept of elasticity of demand, now today's topic is one of the applications of the elasticity of demand concept. By application, we mean that how this elasticity of demand concept is applied in the market and how the firms can get the benefit if they know about the elasticity of demand of the product which they are selling. So now the product can have elastic demand or it can have inelastic demand, and we have repeated this concept before. If the product is having elastic demand, it means that if the price reduces a little bit, the demand will increase a lot, and if the price increases, the quantity demanded will decrease more than the change in the price. So, and similarly, if we have the inelastic demand, that is, if the demand for a product is inelastic, so in that case, if the price increases for a product, the quantity demand will decrease, but not that much as increase in the price. Similarly, if the price reduces, then the increase in the price will not be that much as the decrease in the price. So we have elastic demand and we have inelastic demand. So we will see that if the firm knows about the elasticity of their product, how they can change the price so that their total revenues will be maximized. So if the firm is having demand for its product which is inelastic, the total revenues will increase in this case. And if the demand is elastic, the total revenues will decrease. So if there is increase in the price for a product, let us clarify it further. If there is increase in the price for a product in the market, and if the demand is inelastic, then the total revenues will increase. And if there is increase for a price of a product in the market and demand is elastic, then the total revenues will decrease. The reason for this is that we know that when the demand for a product is inelastic, so in that case there are no substitutes available. So when the price increases, people still buy them. So that is why the total revenue increases. And if the demand is elastic, it means the substitutes are available in this case. So when the substitutes are available and the price has increased, so people will switch towards the substitute, and the result will be that the total revenue will go down and they will be decreased. So this is one of the indicator, or this is one of the direction for the producers or the firms how to change the price, keeping in mind the elasticity of the product. Now let us clarify this concept with the help of a diagram. We have the unitary demand curve over here. We are taking the quantity demanded on the x-axis and the price for this product on the y-axis, and this is the demand curve that we have. So over here the price of this product is $4, and at $4 people are buying 100 units of this product. So as we have seen in the previous slides, that the formula for total revenue is price multiplied by the output multiplied by the quantity demanded. So if we multiply 100 with 4, that is equal to 400. So the total revenues that the firm is earning in this case is $400. Now let's see that if the demand curve is inelastic, as you can see that this demand curve is of the inelastic shape. So in this case, again we have the same data, that is the price is $4 and the consumers are buying 100 units. We are taking the quantity on the x-axis and the price on the y-axis. So now in this case, let's see if we increase the price from $4, what will happen? Keeping in mind demand is inelastic and we want to increase the price. The price has increased to $5 now. So first thing is demand curve is inelastic. The second thing is that the price has been increased from $4 to $5. So when the price has increased, this lined area over here, this shows the extra revenues from selling at a higher price, and which is denoted by A. And B over here is a reduction in the revenues because the units which are being sold are reduced from 100 to 90. So if you are selling in the market and the number of units which you are selling reduces, it means you have lost some revenue. But on the other hand, when the price increases in the market, it means you have increased the revenue. So in this case, the increase in the revenue is more than reduction in the revenues. So the firm's total revenues will increase as being shown by the diagram. So this was the first case of the inelastic demand. Now we see the case of elastic demand. So if you see over here, this demand curve is elastic, which is different from inelastic, which was of this shape. This was the inelastic demand curve. Now we have the elastic demand curve. So in this case, again, the same data, price is 400 units purchased, the total revenue is $400. So now we increase the price in this case, and let's see what happens. So as you can see, the price has increased from $4 to $5. Now what has happened, this portion shows the increase in the revenues and this portion shows the decrease in the revenues. So decrease in the revenues is more than increase in the revenues when the price has been increased. So there is a loss in the total revenue. So whenever the lesson or the conclusion from this discussion is that whenever the firm is selling a product which is having an inelastic demand, so it means that this product has substitutes not available in the market. So when the substitutes are not available, so if this firm increases the price, in that case, they will increase their total revenues. Let me repeat it again. If the firm is having a product which is having inelastic demand, now in this case, if the firm increases the price, the total revenues will increase. On the other hand, if the firm is having elastic demand, so it means that this product is having substitutes available in the market. So if the price of this product is increased, people will move towards the substitutes. So the total revenues will decrease for this firm. So as a conclusion, we can say that the firm can use the concept of elasticity of demand in order to understand or in order to decide about the total revenues which will happen for them after the change in the price. When demand is inelastic, elasticity is less than 1. It will be like 0.5 or 0.8. It means demand is inelastic. So in other words, we can say that there are no substitutes, or we can say that there are lesser number of substitutes available. So price and total revenues move in the same direction, which means that if the price increases, the total revenue will also increase. For what? For the inelastic demand. So if the demand is inelastic, you can increase the price, that will increase your total revenues. On the other hand, when demand is elastic, the elasticity is greater than 1, like it will be 2, 3, 4, 4.5. And in this case, the substitutes are available for the elastic demand. So now the price and the total revenues move in the opposite direction, which means that if the price increases, the total revenues will decrease. So now you can see the summary of this whole lecture over here, that when demand is inelastic, you can increase the price, and when the demand is elastic, you cannot increase the price very easily. Why? In this case, the substitutes are not easily available, whereas in this case, there are substitutes which are available. So if you increase the price, there are chances that you will lose the revenues. So if the demand is unitary elastic, which means elasticity is equal to 1, so in this case, the total revenues remains constant when the price changes. So when you are having a unitary elastic demand for the product, so in that case, your increase or decrease in the price will keep the total revenue same. It will not increase or decrease more than that. Thank you so much, students. I hope you have understood the concept of the relationship between total revenues and the elasticity of demand. I have clarified it with the help of examples as well. But still, if you have got any confusions, you can ask on your KCMS account. I'll be more than happier to answer them. Thank you so much. Take care.